Good morning. I'm Hector Martinez, President-elect for COA. I'm going to welcome you, Danielle. Then I would like for you to introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Hi, my name is Danielle Gillens. I am originally from Orlando, Florida, now residing in Bermuda, and I am thankful for the opportunity to be a part of the education.
Thank you. Welcome to the Educate and Elevate podcast. You have been profiled on this award-winning Educate and Elevate campaign, and we are delighted to interview you today.
Thank you.
Then, Danielle, let's get started with first question.
Yes, sir.
Please tell us about what brought you to adult education program.
It was a desire that I always had, the lack of reading. I struggled with that for years growing up. And in 2007, I was due to take my final test for GED, and my mom died the morning of my final test. My teacher tried to encourage me not to take the test, but I pushed forward. I was unsuccessful, but I continued to believe in myself. I kept trying. Then I gave up. And then lo and behold, in 2021, I was fasting that month of January, and it was a desire to write down to go back to school to get your GED. And I wrote it down, not thinking nothing of it. July of 2021, my son came to visit me from college. And he was like, "What did you want to do for your birthday next month?" And I said, "I want to go back to school for my GED." And while riding down the road, August the 1st, on my mother's birthday, I was listening to K-Love Radio, and Goodwill thrift store came across advertising to go back to school to get your GED free of charge. I called, never forget, Miss Sonia. She enrolled me, and my birthday present was to go back to school.
Oh, Danielle, that is delightful to hear. And we're sorry for your mom. But then, Danielle, let's expand a little bit about that. Then, how did adult education change your life?
It changed my life because of my mom passed. I was homeless, and fighting education was something I longed for. But because of my lack of ability, my confidence, it gave me a drive to want to relearn how to live life with an educated mind, not just for a certificate purpose, but for a life-changing experience that will help me in my career choices, and also being a role model to not just my son, but to others who I like to try to encourage to walk the pathway that I once struggled in.
Okay, then what do you think, or what you're doing now that you have moved on from adult education program?
Receiving my GED opened a door for me because lo and behold, I came to visit the island of Bermuda in 2022 and didn't think I would go back into hospitality, but the door opened while staying at the resort. I felt in my heart when I returned back to the States to apply for a supervisor position. One of the requirements was the education. It was the perfect timing. From the timing of 2021, I was able to get it. My goal was to try to have my GED by May of 2022. I accomplished it by January of 2022, but still didn't know what I was really desiring to do. And now that I'm in that pathway of success, it also has given me an opportunity to encourage others to go back to school to get their GED. And seeing the success from it, it continues to make me want to learn more and to grow more on that education realm.
Well, that's pretty good, Danielle. Then you move from point A to point B, and you're already there. But let me go back a little bit in between. Then, were there any moments you wanted to give up? This is not for me. What kept you going?
There was many moments. I think one of the things was if you can decrease your earning now, you can earn later. For me, that earning was not about finances. It was about the education portion. It was about earning that success of you can become a role model, a motivated speaker. It was a time where I needed to dedicate more to study because it was my third time trying to pass the language arts test. It took a toll on me. But that one particular night, I said, if anything's going to get me through this, I'm going to have to believe. I looked at GED and I erased the meaning of it and I put it as God evidence delivers. And that next morning when I went to go take my test, it was the whole time I was there taking it, I was crying, I was doubting. But it became what was my weakness became my strength. I ended up scoring higher in language art. versus what I normally would score high school in is the math. For me, it was the trying part of needing to make sure I kept my lights on, but I needed that education to pay my car payment. I knew I needed that education. It was just a sense of longing and knowing that once I got it, I would belong in education for the rest of my life.
That's great. Let me ask you to expand a little bit more in what was it like going back to school as an adult?
It was a beautiful experience because it was me facing the woman I was afraid of because of the obstacles that I had experienced, because of the child hardships of life that I had to go through. For me, it was like going back, getting something that I lost at 16. I was chosen to do it. Joy, but also sorrow, because the sorrow is that I found something that seemed like it had been so long and so hard to do. When I put my mind to it, and because that desire was birthed in my heart, I was ecstatic. I knew this time it was going to happen because I was making sacrifices. I was willing to give up what I thought I needed, which was finances. But what I realized I needed more was the education, because I knew once I got that, you can't take that from me.
Danielle, this is a tremendous story, but there is always someone or something that kept you going, supported you most during your learning experience in adult education.
My faith was the driver for me. Believing all things are possible pushed me to the next level. Knowing that my son was getting ready to walk across Elon University with a degree in business, I couldn't let him get that degree without me getting that GED. So that was the second thing that pushed me over. Then it was my teacher, Miss Cox. She pushed me, she encouraged me. She set me to the side. When it was time that it was hard, she put extra time in to make sure that I was going to succeed. And when it was all said and done, of course, I played a critical role as well. My faith, my son, and my teacher, Miss Cox from GTCC.
Danielle, it's a pleasure to visit with you. What message will you share with adult learners listening now?
As they would say, anything that is worth achieving, it's worth going after it. I told myself that failure exists because I'm not willing to succeed. If I push past failure, success will be near in my future. And so I would say that to anyone. Where you may think you have failed at, if you take failure and you reverse it, you will succeed if you keep trying.
Thank you, Danielle. From the Voice of Adult Education, where we lead and empower students, we congratulate you and thank you for being on this podcast.
And continue to open doors for more blessings.
Thank you.